Hey everyone, Grayson the Bard here, and welcome back to day 35 of the Hunt a Day. I want to apologize for yesterday's bad audio. I don't know what was going on with my microphone, but for some reason it just was not capturing audio, and I am not sure why. So I had to unfortunately use the microphone on my laptop, which is not the best quality. But miraculously, my microphone is working again now, just in time for us to hunt the doofiest, the silliest, the winner and undisputed champion of the dumbest name in all of Monster Hunter, Nibble Snarf. But before we get into the actual fight itself, I do want to say real quick, I did play a little bit of the demo last night. I put some time in with Hunting Horn and recorded some footage. I am not going to be putting those videos up as Hunt-A-Days, just because I want that to be more, looking at the older monsters and the older games and giving myself a good last hurrah with the, Generations Rise and World before Wilds consumes my very soul. Right now, my plan is that I want to put up the Hunting Horn video as a way for me to talk about my thoughts on Wild's Hunting Horn, because I do have a lot of thoughts. And so I'm probably going to be putting that up within, a week or two, depending on how much time I get to edit. Today, I am sitting here and actually debating calling in sick as I'm recording this, so I can spend more time with the demo, but we'll see if I actually have the guts to go through with that. But right now, let's talk about a dumb fish. Nibble Snarf is one of the many sand-burrowing creatures in the Monster Hunter series. You've got Nibble Snarf, you got Cephadrome, you got the Diablos and Monoblos, and of all of them, Nibble Snarf is my favorite. And again, what I talked about yesterday of Quechua, I tend to gravitate towards the goofier, the creatures with more interesting interactions in the world. And Nibble Snarf has some really cool interactions in this game that you're going to see in this hunt. The first one being when you find it. When you go into the area where Nibble Snarf is, it is buried in the sand, and there are similar piles and sand dunes that resemble it, that you kind of have to weed through in order to find where Nibble Snarf actually is, at least in theory. In practice, you can see him off in the distance huffing and puffing and breathing through the sand, so you can tell exactly where he is right away, even though they have these kind of decoy shapes littered about the area. But I still think that's neat and a cool way to start the fight. Stuff like that they do as well with Basarios, where he will sometimes just be buried in a field of similar styled rocks, then you have to figure out where he actually is. Or how Espinas starts the fight asleep, and you have to, wake him up in order to start the fight proper. I really love stuff like that. Now, unfortunately, both visually and fight-wise, Nibble Snarf does not have a lot going on for him. Visually, he looks like a very flat, kind of salamander mixed with a grouper. He's got a really big nose and two beady eyes that I really like, and then just a massive maw of razor sharp teeth, which does look really cool and can be intimidating as it is barreling across the desert for you. But for the most part, he's just kind of okay. I don't hate him. I don't love his aesthetics. I think he would definitely do with an HD upgrade. I think it would make the colors pop a little more, the texture on the scales look a little more interesting. But all in all, I don't have anything awful to say about his design. I don't hate it. I just think it's okay. And that's kind of the same thing with his fight, where he just sort of is there, and he does a lot of bites, and he'll burrow in the sand, and he'll jump up, and that's about it. Where the thing that I love about Nibble Snarf, and the thing that propels him upward in my rankings and why I want to see him again, is the interaction he has with barrel bombs. See, if you put a barrel bomb in front of Nibble Snarf, while it is charging at you, or when it does its diving out of the sand to try and bite you move, it will eat the bomb, which will then explode inside of it, allowing you to fish Nibble Snarf out of the sand for a very big, long knockdown and the opportunity to deal a lot of damage. I do it as much as I can in this fight because it is one of my favorite interactions in the entire series. It is fun and unique and rewarding in a way that a lot of the kind of quirky monster and environment interactions usually aren't. They're usually just kind of there for flavor or aesthetics. But this, when you pull it off, it is not only like neat and fun and cool, but it actually provides you with a really nice like mechanical benefit. It gives you good DPS uptime as Nibblesnarf has to flail around on the sand for a good long while. And unfortunately, that is the coolest thing about Nibblesnarf, and it's why I love him so much, but also why I don't think he's likely to be seen again. He, like Kechawacha, is one of those monsters that has a lot of charm and a lot of character, and I think it feels really fun to experience once. But it is not a fun fight to fight. I realized it as I was recording this video that he just kind of does not a whole lot, and it's just a lot of running around, waiting for him to surface, getting a hit in, and then repeating until he eventually flops over and dies. Yeah, the bomb fishing is dope, and it's cool, and I would love to see them do more with it. And that's why I want to see Nibblesnarf come back, is to see what Capcom can do to make the fight more engaging and interesting, and to really, like, cement Nibblesnarf as a threat, as well as a fun gimmick. I really wish I could say that Nibblesnarf in Monster Hunter Generations and in 3 Ultimate before then was fun to fight, and that I was really looking forward to seeing him again for fight purposes, but as he is, I'm not. And it would need a really big overhaul that I think Capcom would be able to do well. And then I think we'd be able to see a monster with a fight as unique as its interaction gimmick. And that's what I want. That's what I want out of these returning creatures. To really let them shine and see them realized in the way that like Capcom saw them in their head when they were designing them. Because, again, Nibblesnarf released in Monster Hunter Tri, which was for the Wii. And just imagine what you could do with a creature like this, a burrowing sandfish with a massive maw that you can rip out of the sand and go ham on. Imagine what they can do with that in a modern gaming engine. Like, even imagine the level of fight that something like Tetranodon has in Monster Hunter Rise, or that, Great Gyros or Dodogama have. I'm not wanting them to make Nibblesnarf particularly tough. Like, I don't want a cart to Nibblesnarf, but I do want to feel more engaged with what's happening on screen. I realized that I didn't do my 10 out of 10 ranking for Kechawacha yesterday, so I will kind of like rope that in with the Nibblesnarf one, I guess. I think Kechawacha is a shoo-in for the Scarlet Forest, if it's not already there. So I'm going to say like 8 or 9 out of 10 for returning in Wilds, and 10 out of 10 for returning in a future game. Now for Nibblesnarf. As much as I want to see him again, and as much as I would love to see what Capcom could do to update this fight, I think Nibblesnarf is probably the lowest on the rung of all the monsters I'm going to be highlighting this week to come back. I don't think we're going to see him again in the near future. I think if we were going to see him in the desert area in Wilds, he would have shown up earlier in the marketing cycle. So I'm going to say like a 2, maybe like a 1 or 2 out of 10 to show up in Wilds, and like a 3 or 4 to show up later in the series. I think Nibblesnarf might be going the way of Giganox and Goebel, where we just are never going to see them again. They're lost media at this point. Oh, but gods, I would love to be proven wrong. Thank you all so much for watching. This was a little bit longer of a ramble. I feel like I had a lot to say about Nibblesnarf, because I do really like it. I think he has potential, but is just held back by a really boring fight. So I know I usually say stick around until the end of the fight if you can. I still appreciate it if you do, but also understand for this fight in particular, there's not a whole lot going on. So feel free to, dip out and, watch some other videos. Maybe watch my Monster Rancher crossover video. I want that to pop off for so bad. But yeah, feel free to step off this one. But like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. Don't if you don't. And until next time, I'll see you next time.